Hey guys, thanks for listening. This episode's going to be a little different. This one's going to be a two-parter. It was a much bigger episode, so I split it into two separate episodes. I'm going to release them relatively close together so that you guys can listen to them all at once. I had a lot of fun with this one. This one was different. This is an interview. I interviewed a friend and a classical musician by the name of Pablo Ruiz, and I'm going to be doing this a lot more. I'm going to have a lot more interviews on the podcast. I've realized I can only say so much, but I want other people on. I want to promote people who I think are doing good things. I want to help other people, not just talk the talk, but help get their voices out there. I want to find people who I think are interesting, who've come from the bottom and have overcome trials and tribulations and hardships to become bigger, badder, and just strong motherfuckers. And I want you guys to hear these stories because I think they're good for you because they were good for me. Having these people and learning from them and seeing them help me. And I want to put them out there. I want to share more stories. I want to help promote good people. And I want to spread that positivity. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of these from me in the future where I have very interesting people on. We're going to talk about their knowledge in their respective fields. I want you guys to learn some stuff from them. And we'll have fun. We'll joke. We'll talk about relationships. We'll do the whole thing. But we're going to be a mix. Do some of the old stuff, some of the interviews whenever I can. And guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this one because I really enjoyed recording it. What's up? What's up, motherfuckers? How you guys doing? Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back. This is going to be like a joint crossover podcast between Get Your Act Together with Mike Bain, my podcast, and my friend, an amazing musician, Pablo Ruiz. Pablo, what's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is P Alpha Music Podcast. You can find me any distribution platform, such as Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, all of them. This is a nice homecoming because I think the first podcast I did once I moved to New York was yours. Yes, it actually was, yeah. And now you're the first guest on mine. That's good. That's good. Thank you so much for having me in your podcast, I wanted to. I mean, I was coming to meet you anyway, so this made it easy. But I want to have people on who are funny, but also are people who work hard and have stories of progression. Thanks, that's kind of the whole point of this podcast is going from being a degenerate fuck up to a better person. I see. Yeah, we both look awful with our facial hair right now, though. I have to disagree with you with that. Yeah, I look good. The last time your goatee was that bad was when it was kind of short though. It was, but you had it gnarly when the police came in our apartment because our old roommate tried to kill herself. Bro, that was damn. So you have to go that back. Me and Pablo have lived together for 2 years. 2 years. Yeah. Pablo was the first person I met when I moved to New York. Now Pablo is from the west side of Puerto Rico. What's the name of your town? So Las Marias. Las Marias. Moved to New York City. How many years ago? I moved in 2015. Yeah, like mid 2015. And is a classical pianist, a hell of a pianist. When I found out that my roommate was a Puerto Rican into music, I wasn't expecting to hear Beethoven every night. I'm going to be straight up with you, dude. I was expecting to hear a lot of shitty bachata music. Maybe some crappy reggaeton. I don't judge you, man. No. So simple fact, it's very hard since the classical music in the Puerto Rican culture is not as, as prevalent. There's a lot of academics, Yeah. But the thing is that to follow such career in the island is very hard because it's not in the culture. Yeah, no, I get it. Now, can you make the argument? Oh, okay, but it's still in the academia, right? I mean, that's the situation in all the United States. You have classical music only in the academia, which is a problem. But that means that there's not a controlled market for people that want to pursue such career outside the academia world. Yeah, they're not teaching you to play Mozart in Appalachia, dude. It's true. There's very few pianists coming out of West Virginia. That's true. Maybe banjo players, but not pianists. Banjo banjo is very famous by the instrument itself. A lot of people do follow banjo culture. Interesting.
Yeah.
I was very in Virginia, especially in the South. The banjo culture is very still prevalent in the South states.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Bluegrass music.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Deliverance?
No.
It's a movie about some guys who go canoeing and they get raped by some hillbillies who play a banjo. And so the banjo has just kind of become like synonymous with sodomy. It's weird that an instrument, because that never happened with the violin or anything else.
I mean, there's some tendencies to compare the violin with being like a rock star. Let me show you why. Paganini, one of the first virtuoso musicians, he wrote 24 caprices, right? They say that each caprice was wrote dedicated to a woman that he slept with.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you got Les, all these guys. These people were rock stars, man. They were just, they were non-apologetic. They would just sleep with any woman they wanted. They wanted to do anything they wanted. These people were just, I mean, it's a misconstruction that these people were saying to something like that. It's not even true. These people were just savages as any rock stars today.
Well, it's kind of like...
It makes sense,
how up until the 50s, if you were a jockey and you rode horses, you could, even though you were 4'5", you could get laid anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's go back to the fact that I think we discussed this about the social value. Even if you can be the plumber, but if you can be the best plumber in the world, you will have some social status, especially in your opposite sex.
You say the best plumber?
Yeah.
Do you think plumbers are out there getting tail?
Who knows, man?
Outside of Mario and the princess, who do you think? What plumbers do you think are getting it into?
It's crazy. I remember the time that you told me that Mario was from Brooklyn. That stuff like really distorted my reality. I'm like, Mario's from Brooklyn?
Mario and Luigi are from Brooklyn, but they decided what's the matter with you? Brooklyn accent wouldn't go good, so they went more right off the boat.
That makes no sense to imagine. I can't imagine Mario being from Brooklyn, man.
It would have been so much better if Mario said things like "gobble goo" and "what's the matter you?"
A little bit of that Italian American accent,
yeah,
right?
If he hit Bowser, he said, "Go fuck your mother."
Hey, what's up? Give me some spaghetti meatball, huh?
But no, you have. So I want to have you on, well, because we're friends, but also. You and I have had a very similar journey where we left our hometowns and our family and our friends behind to go pursue a dream in the big city and come to New York and get violated by this grimy bitch that is New York City, but then refuse to submit to it. And we had a lot of... God, we've had so many motivational... We could have recorded 1 million podcasts just in our kitchen alone. 90% of them talking about women, because Pablo and I were single at the same time. And New York women are a special breed.
I mean, where can I start, man? New York. Okay, this is, I think, is one of the weirdest things about New York City, right? So the female nature in the city, right, tend to be very entitled.
Yeah.
This is the first thing that I noticed when I came here.
It's horrible.
It's just the entitlement that because I'm a woman, I have all this privilege.
I think I know where that comes from, though. I think it comes from the fact that, so if you're a woman and you get on Tinder or a dating app in a small town, or let's say you go to a bar in your little town, you only get so much attention. You get like 5 swipes, you get 2 or 3 guys hit on you, and after a while, they've already hit on you, so you don't see any new men. A woman in New York City turns on Tinder, and she already has a maxed out 99 plus likes, and she can go into a pub or a club anywhere. And so over the course of a night, a woman will have hundreds of men hit on her. And if she's a good-looking woman, she will be hit on just walking to the store at any second of the day. So it's... Why wouldn't you think you were the shit?
Now,
I would.
Yeah, and that's a false confidence, right? Let's call it false confidence because you're now mistaking attention with confidence. Let me just try to just unravel that. So what happened here is since you're in the city, right? You already have some advantage because you're a woman, right? So there's a difference between the man role and the female role. So the man role, he has to develop a skill to chase, right? We need to develop a skill to chase our prey, right?
Yeah, you got to learn how to fashion a spear and throw it.
And the female, it's just she already have these options. So she don't have to develop no skills. So that means that she can just go to the ladder of the hypergamy as high as she can. Even if she's 28, she think that she's this person with a high possibilities of greater things. But the reality is that when they hit those 30, 31, 32, 33, they realize that they're a little bit above the line. That's when things get a little bit crazy, and then you see them do crazy stuff.
Well, what Pablo means by being on the line is they realize they're getting older and they want to use those eggs before they go back.
Yeah, and this was very interesting because I was very into the pickup artist community.
Yeah.
We've
had these talks.
Yeah. So and I did a lot of pickups for years, man. Since I started doing before even Wisconsin. And I developed some skills, you know, I developed some strategy, and I have my moments. But at the same time, right, I noticed that I have a shift. The shift was that I got tired chasing women.
Yeah.
And I got more into, let me just build myself and then make sure that I'm a person of value. And that's when I had more results.
That's what being a man is, dude.
Yeah.
The pickup artist community teaches a boy how to do a math problem that says, say this, get equals phone number.
Yeah.
And that's good when you're like, I was a fat kid up until I got out of high school, and then I went to college, and I got a little fat again, and I lost it. But I've had some ups and downs of fatness. I'm in one of them right now. I lost my muscle after quarantine and gained about 10 pounds, but I'm still there. But it doesn't teach you how to improve yourself as a man.
Yeah.
And in order to get women, at the end of the day, because I always hear men that are insecure, it's just be real, be you, accept this, and that you're not going to get every woman and just say, I don't fucking care. You take me or leave me. And that's it. Improve on you, be healthy, be better, be more intelligent, and it will just naturally happen.
Now, you say something very interesting, be real, right? So what does that mean, being real, right? It means that you have to be honest with yourself.
Yeah,
you have to be honest with yourself that you're not going to get all the women's, and a lot of people are not going to like you.
But who wants all of them anyway? Like, there's been so many women I thought I wanted, and then 5 minutes in, I go, I don't want to have sex with you. You know, 22-year-old me did, but then there was a point where I grew up, and I was like, when a woman says dumb shit, it'll make my dick soft.
Yeah, I mean, because you're becoming a man. See, that's the difference. So when you're becoming a man, your time is more valuable. So now wasting your time with not valuable things, it's making you comfortable.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, that's where the pickup community really
that's where they fail. They teach you how to get a woman's number and how to get her initially, but they don't teach you how to maintain her. And the only way you maintain a relationship with a woman is by being a man, taking responsibility. Yeah. Manhood is all about responsibility, and I think the crux of becoming a man is this: it's pain and suffering and trauma. And if you're never exposed to those, you just become a whiny bitch boy who just points to other men and says those are the bad men. Though it's like a fucking male feminist. You do that,
damn,
this is something that I like to say, which is that trauma is the catalyst by which the soul of a boy is forced into that of a man. Is that you're supposed to be thrown into the water, and either you fucking swim and you fucking become a man and you take responsibility for your family, and you provide for them and you keep them safe and you give them emotional support and you nurture them, or you fucking fail and you become a weak link to everyone in your life.
Yeah. Now that's a very touchy subject, for the fact that means that you're taking responsibility. If for some reason, I don't know where this concept of not taking responsibility came around, that all of a sudden it's everyone's fault, but rather than me being the fault of the same problem, I don't know what happened in the way, or I don't know maybe it's the lack of fathers in homes and stuff like that. I don't know what happened. Yeah, all of a sudden it just became a problem to just take a responsibility. So I don't know. How can I say this? I can speak from my own experience. Getting to the realization that taking responsibility, right, it was a hard truth for me. Because if that means that taking responsibility meant I'm going to transform myself from being a kid, become an adult.
Yeah, it hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts when you realize It's not just me that gets fucked up by my actions. It's someone else.
Yes.
And it's fucking scary because you take on anxiety if you're not sure of yourself and all these other things. You learn to deal with them over time, but you go, oh, there's someone else attached to me now.
Yeah.
I have a wife or a woman or a kid or my mother or my father. You know, my parents are both sick. I've told you my situation. My father's has been an alcoholic and he's very sick, and I had to take over in my family. And, you know, not necessarily, I wasn't there to financially support, but I was there to emotionally support. That was my job, was to become, is that people need a beacon to look towards. It doesn't mean you have to fix everything for them. It just means you have to listen to them, and you have to give them advice, and you have to fucking love them.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want that. And what you said about lack of responsibility, my prediction with that is that it's a consumerist society. People have been taught not to value relationships, but to value things. Okay? Because I think I came to this realization during quarantine how important it is to have a family.
Yeah.
Okay? And at some point I would like to have one. When I find the right woman, I would like to do that. But I'm going to be very fucking picky. I don't mind waiting. I'll wait and I'll find the right one. But it's... So my grandparents had... One of my grandfathers had 7 kids, and the other had 6.
Yeah.
They actually had extras, but, you know, like 2 or 3 died. That's just how it worked, man. You have a litter of kids.
That's how it was back then,
and just, some of them just wouldn't fucking make it, but you know what? The weak ones died, and the strong ones lived, and that's how it worked. And they both supported stay-at-home wives, 6, 7 kids, as bus drivers. Just city bus drivers, right?
That's crazy.
And then something happened in the 60s and the 70s with the baby boomers where 2 parents needed to work non-stop just to make ends meet to have 2 kids. All right? And we were told, fuck having a family. Having a family is failing. What you need is to buy a jet ski, dude. You don't need that shit. You need to buy a new TV. You need to buy shit. Keep working and buy shit. Keep going out. Keep going out. Keep going. We taught people not to value people that love us. Like, dude, jet skis are fun, but I'd rather not die alone in a nursing home. I'd like to have a kid that I can bother. You know, I can come over his house on Thanksgiving and say whatever is now bigoted for that generation. And they go, that's just fucking Grandpa. That's Grandpa Bain. That's what he does. Complains about androids.
You know what's crazy, man? That now they mention that consumerism is, I think, a feminine energy. It is it's a feminine energy.
You're right, actually.
No,
I just clicked right in my head.
Yeah, so as a man, we are not picky with things that we wear, right? So you notice
look at us, dude. Yeah. You think we fucking dressed up for this shit?
You know what's crazy? When I met Mike, we were talking about the same shirt that we were wearing for the last 6 years. I still have the shirts that they fit me well, and I've been using it for the last 10 years.
Dude, I'm moving out of our old apartment right now, and I got shirts from when I was 18.
Yeah. I think it's more like a feminine energy, right? Regarding how to take things. How can I just grab things, right? Because it's a different narrative for the female world, right? The female world, she needs resources, right? We provide resources. So, yeah. As a man, you're always providing resources.
We provide the raw materials.
Yeah. So I think since you have now lack of fathers in their home, now you have all this energy provide for the female nature.
So this is true, and I can tell you my prediction of exactly where it comes from. Because I came to this realization also, which is men don't really shop.
No, we don't.
Men, like, I had this realization that what drives a man consume. My friends spend money on beer, football. They buy like 3 video games a year, Madden and the new Call of Duty, and maybe one other thing.
And that's it.
And did I say beer? They buy more beer. So beer, sports, video games, and then the rest of the money goes towards their woman.
Yeah.
But every girl I know spends money on a million different things, which is why they obviously, is the more money a woman makes, the more she has to spend money on makeup and new things.
Exactly.
Because that to them is a status thing. Whereas a guy, I can still be respected by my friends and be a bum.
Yeah.
To a degree.
To a degree.
If I'm not taking care of my family, then, that's something else. But I know where this comes from instinctively because men are hunters and women are gatherers.
Yes.
That's why when men get together, they act like they're in a pack. And they go out looking for women to pick up or men to fight. It becomes a primal thing.
Yes.
Whereas women, while men were out hucking spears into the ass of a water buffalo, we're picking berries.
Yeah.
And you know where I notice this? Go to a department store and look at clothes racks and watch women just taking shirts off a rack. It's like watching a group of like early cavemen pick berries. It's the same exact thing. And we run from our instincts in society so bad. We've been told as men and women, don't be what you naturally want to be. And the more you fight that, whether it's you fighting your impulses as a gay man or you fighting your impulses to just be a masculine fucking aggressive man, or your woman fighting your impulses to be a mother. Because so many women had told, like I had a girl comic who came to me and said, don't tell anyone, and I'm doing it right now, but I think she'd be okay with that. Don't tell anyone I want to be a mom and have a family.
Yeah.
And I said, that's okay.
Tell me the story, yes.
That's okay. You should never feel ashamed. And I said, why do you feel that way? And she said, because I think other women in the industry, I know they will act like I'm washed up or a traitor or I gave up on my dreams. People act as if children are a guaranteed end to a dream. And I don't think that's the case.
You know what's crazy, man? And this is now I have to be responsible for this, but this is men's fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's what I believe, right? I believe in life there's a structure. There's always structures, right? You cannot go alive without no guidance or some kind of map, right? So there's a structure, right? In order to keep that structure, right, you need to have very strong mental stamina, right? So the man who's married to a woman, right, he has to portray himself as a man. Well, now, what is a man? The man is the one that provides and protects those that are around him. At the moment that you're with a woman, right, and she can smell weakness on you, she will swallow you.
Yeah, well, that's her instinct.
Yes.
To test you, to say, is this man going to be are you going to provide for me? Because if you as a man can't stand up to your woman, how are you going to stand up to another man or anyone else in your life?
Exactly.
It's a test. It's a consistent test.
Yeah.
Same way you check your engine on your car.
Yeah.
That's her checking you to see if you still have a pair of balls in your pants. And if you lose them, you're going to lose her.
Yeah, that's it. And this is where I just say this is the man's fault. Man has to learn how to just provide boundaries. Boundaries is what makes us, right, respect our territory, right? I'm going to tell you a story. I was working, you remember the company that I worked? Momentum, right?
Yeah.
So I was working for them. I finished with them. I finished with them because it was good money, right? But there was something I couldn't just go over the road, right? It was that they crossed the boundary too much. Yeah, and if you complain 2 or 3 times, that's good. But as soon as you complain the 4th time, you have no power. That means they don't respect you. So then I had to decide, okay, the job or my pride.
That's always a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and I went with my pride because I know I can find all the jobs. You see that thing?
Dude, I was in the same boat. I was working a job at a telecom company, and I was the first one in my father's side of the family to go to college, and my father made it a huge thing, and it was a horrible idea because college is just a place to get brainwashed and get a lot of fucking debt. It's not really a place where you learn life skills. You only learn life skills by living life. Okay? You don't learn about the world by sitting in a room reading a book. You fucking go out into the world, you hop on a plane, you go somewhere, and you just fucking make mistakes and you live. And that's how you learn. That's how you get some fucking scars and you become stronger. And I was wanted to utilize my degree. I got this job at a cubicle, and I almost went nuts. Like, I planned out how to fucking, like, beat my CEO with a baseball bat. I figured out exactly where his office was. I go, there's no security here. I was, like, losing my fucking shit. Like, this is, like, the closest time I've coming into losing my shit has been this 2 or 3 months of quarantine, where I almost went fucking nuts because I lost everything. And I remember finally my girl at the time telling me, I was after work and we were out getting food, and she goes, you're just fucking miserable. She goes, you suck to be around.
Damn,
and it hit me, and I go, fuck, dude, I do suck to be around. I'm fucking awful. I just suck. And I go, it's my responsibility. And I had built, this company was very good at making us feel like we would die without them. Like an abusive boyfriend, I was just sitting there like, oh, what am I going to do if I don't have a place where I can make $17 an hour and be treated like shit day in and day out? And I had 2 days left in summer, and I looked out the window and I go, this is how I spent my fucking summer. And I looked at all the people around me who had been there for years, and I go, I'm not going to be you motherfuckers. I don't want to be this miserable prick. And the next day, I woke up, I just hopped on a ferry and went out to an island in Boston Harbor.
Nice, bro.
And 3 days later, I got a call from my mother because she was my emergency contact. She said, you know your job thinks you're dead? And I go, yeah. She's like, you can't just do that. I go, yeah, I can. Because I just did.
Yeah.
I go, I don't owe them anything.
Yeah.
I owe them about as much respect as they gave me.
That's a great point, man. And I think and I wrote this in I think it was a couple days ago about the pride of being a man, right? How important it is, right, for a man to have pride, not only pride in himself but of his family. Pride is his last name, his country, the place that he live, everything. If a man lose sight of the pride, right, he will lose sight of who is just
Who he really is?
Really is, yes. You cannot do that, man. Yeah, I mean, I have pride of my art. I have a lot of pride in my art.
You're an amazing pianist. But what got you into music and what inspired you to get to this point?
So basically, I always wanted to just, be expressive in the arts. I always imagine myself, being famous and just play my instrument, stuff like that. And I was wonder why I want to do that. Why I want to just go around, play, with orchestras and stuff like that.
Get women.
Yeah, get women, shit like that. It's all
that's always part of it, man.
It's just part of it.
That's why I got on stage. You get on stage because you think men will respect me and women will fuck me. That's why every dude gets on a stage.
And that's a great point. It's just I have abundance, right?
Yeah.
It's just the fact that I have freedom and abundance. Now time kept going, right? And then my focus changed. Now instead of just thinking about those things, I'm thinking, okay, now I'm more into the legacy. Legacy became more important than having women, money, and all that shit, right? And now it's more about legacy and pride. So now legacy, pride is more important than money and women, because I already had both of them. So I already have the experience with the women, and then I started to experience.
It's overrated.
With the yeah, it's way overrated.
It's overrated. It's
way overrated,
dude. You ever finally got laid from someone, and you're like, dude, I spent so much time. Pablo, I was just clearing out my phone, and I looked at the amount of text messages hours I've wasted just trying to hook up with girls, and I went, "You're a fucking loser, dude. You could have written a book. You fucking bum.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Mike?"
You know what's crazy, man? And remember when we were having this conversation about spending time trying to get a woman?
Yeah,
right.
Spent thousands of hours.
You've spent thousands and thousands and thousands an hour. Thousands. Imagine you're redirecting that energy to something else.
Yeah, imagine if we learned languages, right? Imagine if I could speak German with you right now, but no, I had to try and fuck Karen from Bumble.
Damn.
That was me. I was like, I could. I don't know.
Was a bad app too.
Bumble?
Yeah.
First girl I ever got laid with off of a dating app was Bumble, and that was it. That was it. Just. And then years down the line, nothing.
There's some weird conspiracy regarding the dating app, man. The dating app is just a scam to just get guys' monies, man.
Some girls do it. We lived with a girl who did that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, bro.
She shacked up with him right now.
Damn.
The guy that she milked dry. We lived with a girl who was a succubus. She would get with men and she would drain them of their emotion and their money. And she would break them. She got off sexually on breaking their manhoods and like literally.
Yeah, literally.
She openly said only the strong deserve to survive, and she would put men she would gaslight them to a point of insanity, and then fucking break them. And it was very watching her do it in action, dude. It was like watching a cheetah chase down a gazelle, or it was like watching a bear eat a caribou.
Damn,
just like
man.
Rip its fucking intestines out and go to town. And it was awful.
It was. That's when you start noticing. I've been living with women for years as a roommate. Ex-girlfriend, stuff like that. But seeing their natural behaviors, right, and their way they deal with men. My goodness, that really opened my eyes to like a different perspective about what the hell are we dealing with, man. They'll get, for example, the way she was explaining how she would just conduct herself with these guys and just stripping their resources, the manhood. Oh my goodness, it's just, you don't know what to think.
I know what to think. I think she's a fucking
demon. That's what she was a fucking demon.
I mean, hopefully she grows out of it, but at that time, she was a monster, and I called her to her face.
Yeah.
And she was just like, okay, you know.
Yeah. She realized that she's a demon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I learned a lot of lessons too. I think men get arrogant in their concept of women, which is why so many men get taken advantage of by women. Is because men just assume that women are weak and that they don't have mental faculties to manipulate or control them, or to just pimp them. Yeah. Women can pimp dudes. I've seen it happen. I've gotten caught up in it. We've all been got by a girl, you know, and you just learn. Yeah. And it's, I never, like, I may say some shit jokingly, misogynistically. Yeah. I don't ever underestimate women. I know what their full fucking capabilities are.
And this is, now that you enter into this, as a man, right? So this is my belief in a lot of these things, right? As a man, I just make sure that my reality is stronger than hers.
Yeah.
And I'm very unapologetic to that shit.
Well, you need to be. I also, I don't... So it's why I don't often let women get away with shit with me, is because I expect more out of them.
Yes.
A lot of times I think women are babied by men. Like fathers will never hold their daughters to the same standards as their sons, and therefore they get a certain amount of spoil or privilege, and they're not held to task, and they don't build up a defense towards life. And I don't allow that. I'm like, you're a person. You don't get to play the naivete with me. You don't get to pretend like you don't understand things. You're a human being just like me, and I expect the fucking best out of you, as you expect out of me.
Do they develop it in a different way?
It depends, because everyone's different. Yeah. And it's easy to sit here and stereotype. Some women are like that, but I've met plenty of girls, and these are the women I'm attracted to, that weren't. Yeah. Who basically were like, you need to fucking step up. Like a girl who gets pregnant at 20 and realizes, I gotta be a mom. Mm-hmm. And not a shitty one. So guess what? I'm gonna buck the fuck up, and I'm gonna be a mom. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna handle my shit. I'm going to be responsible for my actions and myself. Mm-hmm. And that's all it is about that manhood and womanhood and just adulthood, is saying, like what we were talking about, like when you're dating a woman, it's always your fault. That's what I always do, is I remind myself, this is my fault. Yeah, it's my fault if the relationship failed. It's my fault if this didn't get fixed. It's my fault if she can't express herself to me, or I won't express myself to her. Because that's my responsibility as a dude, is to just say, it's my fault, now fucking fix it. Yeah.
You know what? That's very interesting, is that as a man, that's why I was telling you that a lot of these things that happen is because man itself do not know how to take responsibilities on these situations. You know, if you have a couple right now, I'm a woman, my woman's pregnant, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I wanted to get into was, so Pablo called me, maybe I had left the city right after like things got bad with the virus. I was supposed to go on vacation. I didn't. I went to stay with some family in the woods, and Pablo called me maybe 2 weeks in, and he goes, Mike, my girlfriend's pregnant. And I go, congratulations. But also in the back of my head, I'm like, oh shit. Yeah. Like, this is a hell of a time to be having a baby. Is like, and how, dude, did you shit a fucking brick, man? Like, when you found out that there was a pandemic and the world was shutting down, you had just lost your job, or you were on hold, and now your girlfriend, you just moved into a new place, and you're living in New York City, which is a fucking expensive city, and you're about to be a dad. What was that like, man?
I man up.
You did. That's why I'm fucking proud of you. Yeah,
I man up. So as soon as I got the news about I'm going to be a father, I just switched very quick. Like, okay, now I have to take responsibility about this. Yeah. Now shit just hit the fan. Now I have to be the leader of my family, and now I have to make sure that I guide them. And I have to make sure that my woman feel like a woman with me, right? You have to make sure that things are clear between me and her, you know?
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I guide them to this process.
You gotta let her know that she's safe and cared
Yeah,
for.
she feels very safe with me. And the fact is, it's not that she feels like that. I made her feel like that. So how did I did that? Just make sure during this pandemic, everyone could have just lost their mind.
Most people did.
Yeah.
I at various times kind of did. I pulled myself out of the ashes.
Yeah, because it was not easy. You've seen the news, everyone's dying, stuff like that. I have people calling me, hey, my dad just died because of the corona thing. I understand that. But even though I have conflicts inside my mind and all this stuff just going crazy, I have to portray to my family, right, that everything's under control. See?
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge difference when conflict comes to you. Just to take a deep breath, compose yourself, and just move forward, man. Just move forward. Just make sure your family trusts you. Yeah.
That's the most important thing. It's like, there's kind of like being a politician. Even if you don't know what's going to happen, you tell them it's going to be okay. Because the truth is, people don't want to hear the world's going to fucking end.
Yeah.
All right? You don't have to lie to them, but you tell them. And the reality is, it just is what it is. If shit gets bad, it gets fucking bad, and you just work through it. Okay? You don't sit here and you cry about what's going to happen. You suck it the fuck up, and you take the punch in the face, and your nose gets broken, and it reheals.
Now, the question is, do we have control of that? We don't.
We only have control over ourselves and how we interpret that.
Yeah. We don't have control. If there's a demon going outside called coronavirus, I cannot control that. I can control what do I do in my home. I can control mostly what I can do in my surrounding, as close, right? Because even that could be even out of my reach.
We control whether or not we wear face masks. That's what we control. Pablo.
Exactly.
That and how we interpret the world. Because not only do you have to deal with coronavirus, but you have to deal with what's going on in the country right now politically. The riots, the protests, and a lot of people, it's hard to say because there's a lot of different factors going on right now, but there is a group of people who believe that they're having a revolution in America. And they openly state this.
Yes.
They're openly stating, if you go online, there are people who say, like if they're called out for going outside, they'll say, well, it doesn't matter if we don't social distance, we're having a revolution. Yeah. And that's a fucking uncertain time to be having that. And to be a fucking dad, because you go look at your kids and say, it's going to be okay. And it might not be down the road, but right now it's okay.
Yeah. So in my case, right, that I'm thinking about my future and my kid, right, is that, okay, so now I have to make sure that I get involved into the process. I have to make sure what decisions are going to be made to ensure the future of my kids, of my family. So now I have to be more conscious when we talk about politics, or we just enter in the politic realm. That I'm making decisions not only based on my circumstances, but my family's future. Yeah. So now it's different. Now it's not about only Pablo being, all this conservative stuff. Now it's about my family, my kids.
I think that's what makes people naturally more conservative as they grow up, is having a family. And so I've noticed how people are reacting. So I've talked with a lot of people, and as I said, I feel like consumerism turns people away from a family and a tribe and the things that you really need to fill your fucking soul and spirit.
We spoke about the community in the city.
Yeah.
We spoke about this?
Like I noticed right when I got to the city, it's kind of, in gentrified areas, it's every person for themselves. Yeah. No one cares about their fucking neighbor. They just care about their status. How am I viewed? Did I post the right shit on Instagram? Do I have enough followers? Am I wearing the right thing? It's not, am I loved? It's not, do my kids respect me?
Yeah.
It's not, does anyone respect me? It's not, there's no honor or respect or any of those things that I value, that you value, that a lot of people still value. And what I noticed is, and I've talked with you about this, about how important it is for a politician to have children. And I never thought anything about it, but I've seen, like, with what's going on with the quote-unquote revolution or riots or whatever is going on. Now, a lot of people out there are clearly protesting for legitimate reform that should happen. Qualified immunity, I believe, should be taken away. I think most conservatives and liberals can all agree on that. But there's also people who are like, dude, there's a lot of people out here that are just fucking pricks who want to see the world burn.
Yeah.
Okay? And they don't care. And you know what? You know why they don't fucking care? Because they don't have kids. and they don't have a future. They're not invested in what happens next. And I've noticed my friends and my family who are fathers and mothers are viewing this very differently than the ones who don't have kids. And when I came back to the city this morning, I was very like, I felt all joyous and I felt happy, and I go, and that was good, but at the same time, I felt free because I was like, I don't have my family here with me. So I don't feel invested. I didn't feel invested in the world when I got back to New York City. All I was thinking about is, flat out, dude, how am I going to get my fucking dick sucked? Like everything I thought about when I lived here before, which was, all right, where am I going to smoke a blunt and how am I going to get my fucking dick sucked? Yeah. Just basic fucking monkey shit. Yeah. Not thinking about, like, because when where I was staying, I was with my family, and I was like staying with my younger cousins who were basically like a nephew and niece to me. Yeah. And spending time with them was wholesome, and it was good. It's not as exciting, dude, as Cop and Blow in fucking East New York and going to see a fucking hooker in Queens, dude. That's exciting. It's not happiness. It's exciting. It gets your fucking blood pumping, and you're like, am I going to get robbed? I don't know. But it's not the same as the tranquil peace you get when you wake up and there's a 4-year-old looking in your face and saying, I love you. Let's play.
Now, the question is, those things make you exciting, but are you hitting the target?
I never went home. I would go home feeling like I got my testosterone out. Yeah. But not spiritually satiated. Yeah. And I've noticed that people who don't have kids don't feel alarmed by what's going on in the world. They're just like, yeah, whatever, just fucking tear shit down until there's nothing left out of. And that's easy to do. But my friends that are becoming far more politically active and far more cognizant and conscious of what's going on, I've noticed they're all fathers. Yeah. And there's a direct correlation to that. How do you feel an investment in your culture, in your nation, in your country, in your civilization, in your town, your race, your ethnicity, whatever tribe you have? How do you feel an investment in that when you're not contributing to the next generation of it?
That is the dangerous right there. The dangerous of, am I being so narcissistic that I don't want to pass it on? Yeah. Now that's very dangerous, because if you want, I could have just go this road of just keeping doing what I'm doing, just do my thing and not having a family, right? But then at the end, what's my legacy?
Yeah, dude, that's what I talk with my friend James about legacy a lot. Yes. And it's like, dude, do you really want to be 50 years old? Just you're the last dude standing, and you're going out to a pub every night trying to pick up a girl who's 22 or whatever, and just are you not fulfilled by then? I mean, it's kind of like with me. Thankfully, my sobriety is really just, it's not even when I hit rock bottom, when I end something, it's when it wears off. Because I've nearly died from alcohol several times. That never stopped me. What really stopped me, I got fucked up and it didn't work anymore. Okay? I've gone out trying to get laid just to not feel alone, and it didn't work anymore.
I
still felt alone, dude. Yeah. Laying there with someone in a bed and you feel alone. That's some fucking psycho shit.
It's not only that. I mean, it's the same with porn, man. And
porn doesn't do it for me either. I feel dead inside when I watch porn.
Even if you go down the rabbit hole of very rashy, weird things, right?
The real nasty shit.
Yeah. Even though you go to that rabbit hole, you get the rush, right? But afterward you feel like, damn, really?
It's like the lyrics to that Guns N' Roses song about heroin. I used to do a little, but little couldn't do it, so little got more and more. You start off with something, and you get to the next level, and you're like, you're like, you know what? Now I need DP, and then you're like, now I need 3P, and then it's like, now I'm watching. And somehow you come around, you're watching Discovery Channel and watching two moose fuck. Yeah. And you go, how did I get here?
Yeah. No, do you know what's interesting? This is just a reflection on emptiness. You feel completely empty. You're trying to just fuel that emptiness with nothing. Think about it. You're just trying to fuel that emptiness with nothing.
When I feel loved, I don't get on apps. When I feel lonely, I can't not be on a dating app. Yeah. I'm just, and I've realized that's an internal flaw within myself, and one that I will always have to work on. It's not going to go away. It is a structural flaw within me, like a rusty beam in a building. And it needs to be fucking supported, and it's my job to fucking deal with it, dude. It is, dude. It is. I've been there so many, and I'll just be like, dude, Mike, what are you doing? And I catch myself doing it, and I'm like, what is this for? Come on, dude. Like, how about you do something? You've been on your phone for 3 hours, and you keep swiping, and you just want to... It's the same reason I get on stage. You just want someone to go, nice job. Look at you. And it's the same reason people post like the right politics online. Like right now, everyone's trying to one-up each other to be the most woke individual. And it happens a lot with comedians, especially comedians who aren't good, because if they can't get the affirmation on stage or in any up from women or the opposite gender, they want affirmation for having the right politics. They just want affirmation. And what I've realized is affirmation has to come from you.
Yeah.
First and foremost, if you're not enough on your own, like we were saying earlier, when you get beyond pickup artistry, if you're not enough just because you're fucking you'll never be enough with anyone else.
Now, is that, when they do that, is that a point, a starting point from courage or cowardice?
Say that.
So is that, when they do that kind of stuff that they want to virtual signal, right? Is that a starting point?
It's fear.
For fear, right?
It's fear of being rejected by a group, and which is the worst thing you can be as an artist, because in order to be a truly powerful artist, and this is going to sound like the corniest fucking shit I'm going to say in this podcast, but I really mean it. In order to be a good artist, you have to turn is the same quality you need as a good leader. So, in order to be a leader or a good artist, you have to fight something instinctually in you, which tells you shut up and just be a part of the pack. You have to walk away from the pack. Turn to the pack or the tribe and say, fuck you, this is what I do. And when all those eyes look at you and everyone's like, what the... And that is a painful feeling. And I've met people who jumped out of planes, who've been like SWAT people who are more afraid to get on stage than nearly risk death. Because that fear has been stuck inside you by millions of years of evolution to not go against the pack. But by going against the pack, it's the only way you can lead people or inspire people. You know, there's never been the best musicians and comedians were always people who went against the grain. It was never the dude who sat there and said what everyone else wanted to hear.
It was never the dude that did everything correct.
No.
It's not the good. But you know what's not interesting? You know why the dude that does everything correct never get any praise? Because he's just acting
because it takes no courage
in behalf of just being afraid. He just wants to make sure that everyone likes him, you know, so he does everything correctly, right? But in reality, you're just making sure that you go down the deep hole that it's going to be later harder to get out, because then you're going to be in a community that they know you are the nice guy, Joey the nice guy. Right? Now you're being Joey the nice guy, trying to be Joey the not nice guy. Everyone's gonna hate you now. But you already just established that Joey nice guy for years. You know? And this happens to me hundreds of times. When I started going back to Puerto Rico, those old high school and bachelor degree friends that I used to have, they see me now with a beard, like shit, like I look aggressive, right? And they cannot even believe it. Even they believe the way I express myself. They're like, I used to be this shy, very shy kind of guy. Now you're this kind of aggressive guy. I'm like, I'm not afraid of you or the world. That's a bit the difference between you and me.
When I was a kid and a teenager, I was more passive than almost all my friends. And I would watch my friends get into like fights, like serious fights. Like we grew up in the inner city. I remember watching my friend just knock this dude out who was twice his size, giant black dude, just walk up, drop him like it was nothing. And I remember just being like, how does he not have any fear? Just nothing. I watched my friends steal and commit crimes and just fight people and no fear, and I was afraid. And a lot of them, as they've gotten older, they developed fear. Now they're afraid to ever break the rules. These same dudes who were never afraid to go to prison are now afraid to send their meal back at a restaurant. And I became the opposite. I'm not afraid of confrontation now. Now I'm a dude who isn't afraid to fuck up or break the law or get in trouble. It doesn't bother me, really. Also, it's easier for me because I don't have a family. Like in the same way you're about to be a dad. That is something you have to be more conscious of. But I became free. I got the freedom that people get as teenagers when I was in my late 20s. And I think it's just how I fucking evolved.
Maybe that was the way for you to evolve in that way, you know?
Yeah.
There's some, there's some guys, okay, there's some people that just react to certain situations completely different. I mean, I never thought in myself that I was going to be a salesman. But then all of a sudden, I became a salesman. Now I love the job.
Well, you also... Necessity, dude.
Necessity, yeah. That's a good point.
You and I, like, I'll get more deep into this. Me and Pablo moved to the city. 2 broke fucking artists, in our 20s. You're like a year or 2 younger than me. Yeah. And living in a... Not the worst place, but not the fucking best place either, dude.
An apartment... as a realtor, man, I think we live in a nice apartment, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
we
was not the worst.
Yeah.
Was not the worst.
But we had nothing, and we worked from nothing with no jobs and made shit work for our dream. And no girlfriends, no family here, just on our own. And this is like, I was planning a trip to Asia, and everyone was like, how are you just going to do that? And the thing I was going to realize is you just figure it out. How do you move to a new city? You just fucking do it. And it's hard, and it's difficult. But when you need a bed to sleep on, you will make yourself find a bed to sleep on. When you need food to eat, you will make yourself find food. When you're in a country and you don't speak the language and you can't figure out how to do something, you fucking figure it out. You when you're thrown into the water, you swim or you drown. Mm-hmm. And every instinct in your body is going to tell you to swim.
Mm-hmm. When I went to Italy, it was the same thing. I mean, it was people couldn't just believe the fact that I was going to Italy and just do my thing. And I slept in each airport. Even when I went to Bulgaria, I slept in the airport for 2 days. It was very comfortable. Just put the towels on the floor. That's it. It's true, man. You just put a couple towels.
I don't know about that, Pablo.
I've slept.
I'm going to disagree.
So I slept in the Ukraine airport 2 days in a row, right? And when I was in Italy, I slept in Orlando, and I just make it happen. You know, I didn't have the money to find a hotel or shit like that, so I had to just make it happen. It's the same with the other flight. I was not. Now it became a fact that I was not even afraid to go that far away and just make it happen. That fear of what if, I don't know what to do about this, and it went away. I knew if I just went there, my body, in my mind, would just figure out stuff. You just do it.
And it's not the best, but it's not the worst. Like, when I would first take the bus down to New York City, I would sleep in Washington Square Park. Yeah. I would find a bench and I would just sleep. And then once a park ranger or whatever kicked me off a bench, I would sleep in the grass. And it is what it is. And I had to do the same thing sometimes when I was really broke and I was working. And I could gentrify to the neighborhood I grew up in. And I remember having to sleep on a bench down by the water and just waking up. And I'd saved some pizza, and these ants got in my pizza. And I'm like, fuck you, ants. I'm eating this fucking pizza. I don't have money for more pizza.
I remember the time that we were just grab some food from the church. Those fruit, bro. Those fruit saved my life, man.
Me and Pablo were kept alive through donations from a church. And it's why I've always had, like, I'm not a religious dude. And a lot of people try and bash religion. And I think it's just them... Can it be used for evil? Yes. But it can be used for fucking greatness too.
And
just
that's
like
a great
any
example.
other tool.
That's a great example. I always have food because thanks to that church. Remember the patties? I used to have a bunch of patties.
Dude, those guys kept us... I remember my friend Mike coming over and he goes, why is your milk carton yellow? And I go, I got it down at the mission. And he goes, dude, you getting charity milk? And I go, yeah. Yeah, what do you want me to do?
I mean, bread, food, meat, vegetables, milk. I mean, we have everything. Fruit. Remember those boxes that I used to just bring? My goodness.
This was a black church in Bed-Stuy, and they never said,
Gate Avenue,
said, fucking, you're not originally from here. You're not black. You don't get any. They were they would, please come and take some. Come and take some. Hey, don't need a bag. Take another bag.
They would just force you to take more. And I think that's one of the most, that's a humble experience.
Yeah.
That's a humble experience to put you know what? I know everything's going to be fine. Because it's not easy to be in the city. Let me just emphasize that. The city is a place with great opportunities, right? But at the same time, it's just will swallow you if you just show like a small fraction of fear.
We watched that happen in real time. Pablo and I, so we've had a lot of roommates, and we had one girl who came to the city from Brazil, and she had dreams. She wanted to be a journalist. She was like us. She was older. And the city devoured her. That's
a great adjective.
New York City break a woman in real time. And as much as I love this place and people want to talk about it's the greatest city ever, you regularly watch women cry in public. The New York Times published an article, the 9 best places to cry in public.
No way,
women,
bro.
Yes, women in this. You'll just be on the train, especially in hipster places, and you're watching just these hipster white girls, like they're gonna throw up, just fighting the tears, and I'm just like, just fucking go back to Ohio, just go back to Kansas and be loved. You don't necessarily need this, or maybe you need to work through this, but fucking just.
You're not built for this.
It's all the time, and it's like this isn't for everyone, and it doesn't. People come here and they just throw themselves into this fucking meat grinder, thinking that it's guaranteed they're gonna get happiness. And it's not, dude. It's not the place that makes you happy. It's the fucking shit inside you that makes you happy.
It's a place that will really. I mean, you will build yourself very well. I mean, I learned so many things: how to host a concert, how to participate in another concert, how to network with people, how to move from one job to the other, sell skill, real estate. I learned a lot of stuff, bro.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I saw people getting swallowed, crying. I don't want to be here. Bro, all that stuff, like in real, like Mike said, real time.
I remember that. So she was slowly over time mentally deteriorating. Yeah. Because this city just fucking eats you, and it happened to me and you. Because there were nights where I remember coming home on the train at 3 a.m. and people are fighting on the train, taking like the A train, and like legit fucking some real fucking nasty shit, dude. Like the city's safer now, for now, okay? And there were people fucking people up when there were cops on the train. So imagine if they're not there. And dude, I mean, I remember towards the end of our stay at the apartment, I remember leaving the train station at night, high as a kite, and watching a dude beat the shit out of a woman. And it was the first time I ever called 911, because I always was brought up not to call the police. And I saw a dude like beating the shit. Either he was a pimp and that was his hoe, or that was a boyfriend and girlfriend. But he fucked her up, and it was like, I remember watching it, and it brought me back to a dark place from shit I saw as a kid. And it took me a couple days to get over it. And the next day, you and I saw a fight between a guy and a girl in the street, and a little kid came up to us. He was maybe 8 years old, and he said, one of the guys said, "Hey, cop, come over here," because I was white. He just assumed I must have been a cop because I was in the neighborhood. And the little kid goes, "Are you a cop?" And you and me are like, nah, kid. And he's like, "Can you, there's a fight. He's beating someone up. Can you help us?" And we're like, no.
There's nothing we can do.
I remember, and he followed us for 5 blocks. Yeah. And it was like, dude, I can't, if I call the cops and the cops come and someone gets shot, that's on me. And I stick out. If someone says the fucking white boy with the red hair called the police, they're going to know it's me. And then that's something I have to fucking live with.
Not only that, remember the guy that we saw in Gate Avenue that he was laying in the floor. He was bleeding like crazy. He was close to the fence. I think was close to the deli store.
Oh, the dude with his face caved in. Yeah. I remember that dude.
I mean, that's when I realized that I became the city. I was completely detached.
You become numb.
Completely numb. The guy is bleeding in the floor.
It was the middle of the day. It was like noontime. Yeah. And he was just on the sidewalk with his face. Yeah,
we finished going to the gym. We come back, like, guys, and I'm like numb about this thing.
Pouring blood. And it was, you know what? It didn't even faze me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you know what? The week just get gobbled up. And it's not a necessarily healthy attitude to fucking have, and you become conscious of it over time. And a lot of people think when they watch videos of the city, they're like, I'll stand up, I'll do that and do the right thing. But the reality is, it's not a one-time occasion. It's something you see day after day, week after fucking week. And I remember our roommate, the day she finally cracked and lost her mind, she started destroying our kitchen, and me and Pablo wake up to her, and she threw something. She threw Pablo's coffee maker off the wall. She threw a cup at she picked up a block that said, we have a happy home, and chucked it in my face. And we just left and went to the gym, locked her out. And then she went up to the roof. And her friend, a couple of acquaintances, loose friends, were like, she's posting, I want to kill myself stuff online. The police come. The police come up to me and Pablo, and we got back from the gym. Pablo's got his, like, dirty goatee. I look fucking scruffy. Pablo has no shirt on. I have, like, a dirty white tee. And the cops come in, and they're like, what do we do? And I was like, I don't fucking know, dude. You're the cop. You fucking tell me. And he's like, should we go up the roof? And I'm like,
supposedly, I don't know.
He's like, does she hate cops? And I go, I don't fucking know. And they go up, they get her down, and then two cops come in, veteran cops, Italian dude and Irish dude. And he goes, what's the matter here? What's going on? What's up? She goes, I have no money. And he goes, it's all right. We'll take care of you. I have no food. And he goes, that's all right. She goes, is it a crime to be raped? And I looked at you and I was like, if she fucking tells the cops we raped her, we are fucked. Because we look like dirtballs right now. And she goes, when I was 8, puta, and slaps her hand on the table. And he goes, all right, fucking grabs her, takes her away. They look in her room. We try and get her ID. The smell was horrific.
It was a very bad smell.
It smelled like there was something dead in there. It smelled like, you know when someone never cleans their vagina and then also never cleans their armpits? Those had mixed together.
No. Worse than that. When you haven't done those things, but you close your entire room, right?
Yeah, there was no window open.
No air.
Nothing. It was no air. And
everything closer.
She had been drawing stuff on the wall like in a beautiful mind, except this wasn't like intelligent math problems. This was fucking insane, crazy. Yeah. The devil is watching me. There were ripped up papers from psychologists explaining that you need to take medication.
There was things, and posted all the walls and weird numbers and stuff like that. A lot of suicide biographies from artists and stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of Kurt Cobain, Anthony Bourdain shit.
And this was a things that really evolved to explode. And I think me and Mike, we tried to help her in the beginning.
We really did try and help her, but she didn't want help.
Exactly.
She just wanted to blame everyone else for her problems.
Yeah.
She never wanted to take accountability. We would explain, if you want, she was like, always like, I need to gain more weight, but I don't want to eat more. And I was like, well, this is what you have to do if you want to be muscular. You can either accept yourself as you are, or you can say, I want to change, and you can fucking change.
Yeah.
And she didn't want to do that. And when I looked in her eyes that morning, I was like, oh, you're gone. And then she went, she spent about 12 days in a psych ward and then came back and then accused a guy of rape and said that I saw it, which I didn't. I was out of fucking state doing shows. And then went to the psych ward again for 14 days. When she first came back, it was just me in the apartment. You were in fucking Romania. Bulgaria, and the other chick had left. She fucking fled. And I remember hearing someone on the roof, and I was like, I think she fucking escaped the psych ward. I couldn't sleep, and I had to hide the knives. For a while, I was just like, she's going to kill me in my sleep. But everyone's like, why don't you leave? And I go, man, what am I going to fucking do, man? She stabs me, she fucking stabs me. It's fucking part of life, man. Like, as long as she doesn't get me in the neck, I should be able to take the knife out and stab her.
But you know what's crazy? That is very common. That way we saw that is very common. It's not something that only happened there. Common. It's very common. And some of the other people that I know, even outside of the place that we were, even Williamsburg, Bushwick, this is very common. Crazy roommate, all of a sudden just going crazy, exploding.
The best part was when I spoke with her acquaintance who used to be a roommate. She goes, I go, I'm surprised you're here because you used to bully her. And she goes, no, I didn't. She goes, she told me that she was in an abusive relationship with her ex-husband and all other Brazilian roommates would bully her. And she goes, no, she was a psycho and she made 4 of our roommates leave. She would just focus on them and destroy their lives. And then I found out she was doing it to me. I found out in the psych ward she was talking about me nonstop. She got like obsessed with me.
I think because...
Which... I can't blame you, ladies.
I think, and this is more into the psychology of the female nature, is that women are attracted in the form of attention, right? She was always looking for your attention, right?
I wouldn't give it to her.
Yeah, and you would never give it to her. No. You would always bring you a pre-selected man We were pre-selected, man. We were just bring women into the apartment, right?
Yeah, we do our. Ow!
Yeah.
No,
and she just wants, her nature just was, having conflict. She's a feminist, but then she having these alpha male just having their own, their own life. Of course,
What was... It was the you don't matter. It was I'm not even remotely... I'm interested in you. And that's what makes... This was the mistake I used to make as a young man with attractive and pretty girls. Is I would put them on a pedestal, and I wouldn't treat them the way I would normal women. I would overthink my reactions, and that was a mistake. The reason I ever got women was because I didn't care. I was just me. I acted like who I really am, which means I sang goofy songs. I made funny fucking jokes. I sometimes said offensive fucking shit. I was just me. I didn't fucking care. And if you didn't like me, whatever. But when I got a girl that I told myself I should want because of her beauty or status, I went different. And when I went different and I became self-conscious, that's when I failed. Just as an artist, when I go into a show, obviously I prepare myself and I do my best. But when I'm overly in my head about it, oh, is this booker going to see me? And then I fuck myself. I fuck myself. But when I go in there and I go, I fucking got this, dude. I'm going to fucking crush this show. I know I'm funny. I know I'm the dude. I know I'm going to do this because I've done it 100 times before. And I'm going to do it again. And if I fuck up, well, I'll fuck up and I'll fucking do it right the next time.
Just do it again.
And when you overly think in action, whether it's in creativity or in trying to get a woman or someone of the opposite gender, you fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Because you put it on a pedestal, man, and you don't act like who you really are.
That's the worst, man. Putting someone else in a pedestal, that means that you are looking up. You're right. And it makes you... it diminishes you. And the key to being a good creative and being a good spouse or whatever is being real. Like, no one, when an audience looks at a comedian or a musician and they know you're fake, they feel it. You watch it. You can watch a dude get on stage and just go, this dude's fake. You're a bitch. You're just telling me what I fucking want to hear, or you're not being real. This is a character. It's the same thing when you go on a date and you put on a character. People instinctually sniff that out, and we're bred to sniff that out because when we meet someone of our pack and they're not being real, our instinct says, be suspicious. There's ulterior motives. It's the incongruency. So this is where the body starts saying, wait, something's not congruent here. I don't know if it's story, it's his body, something's not correct here. So I remember when I used to live in Wyoming, I was still studying classical music, and you'll find these Asian brilliant pianists. Brilliant, Mike. I'm telling you about people playing perfect music.
You're telling me that Asians are good at classical music?
Yeah.
I don't fucking believe you, dude. Yeah. They fucking own classical music, man.
Check this out, bro. One of the girls, she played one of Prokofiev's sonata. That's a very hard piece for piano. She played perfectly, bro. By the end, she gave the last chord, and she go like this. And I remember me watching and feeling that reaction. I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And then you can see the professor saying like, okay, now she's mine. Now I can just hand that to the master and just tell her how many things she had wrong.
Oh, you mean the professor wanted to control her?
Yeah, because if you play in classical music and in music, you never give the audience their control in performance.
No, you don't. Same thing with a comedian.
In comedian, you never give the audience the control, because if you give them the control, that means that you care too much for their opinion.
Yes.
So you, exactly. As a pianist, I have good concerts and bad concerts, but guess what? I can care less. I can literally care less.
You know you're good.
Yeah, I don't need nobody's approval for the audience, right? You like it, good. You don't like it, good. It's the same, right? But as soon as this pianist went down like this, boom, I noticed this is the problem with these people. It's the fact you guys give too much control to opinions. Opinions are just statements that are not even fact. It's just it's an idea from someone else, but it's not your reality. See? And I think a lot of artists have to understand that when you play in front of people, it's about your moment, not the audience moment. You know?
No, you're right. You're right, dude. It's the same thing with relationships or dating. Is that you have to not care. about them to a degree, but or what they think of you. You care about what you think of you. And whenever I've watched a comedian go into the crowd by doing crowd work and they allow someone to talk over them, you don't get the show back. And you've basically everything we do comes back to our fucking caveman tendencies. And when you show weakness or passivity, the same way if you watch two dogs fight and then one of them sticks his tail between his legs, when we look at that, even as humans, we're like, you're a bitch. That's fucking gross, dude. I don't there's something about watching a little dog that doesn't care standing up to a fucking pit bull. Even if he gets rips to shit, I fucking respect that dog. He went out like a fucking monster. All right, and that's all it's about. It is courage and no fear and saying, this is me. And if the world fucking wrecks me, I don't fucking care. All right, I go out on my own 2 feet and I don't die like a coward. And that's, I think, something needs to be said about what's going on in the world right now, because I watch so many people that are afraid to be what they are and apologizing for who they are and how they were born and where they came from. And it's like, dude, just fucking own you, okay? I don't care what fucking thing you got going on. Own you. Own you. Stare into oblivion and say, fuck you, okay? All right? Because as long as you're stuck around what other people think of you, you're a slave. You're a slave to what they think. And you'll never fucking evolve, man.
I think it was Dan Pena that mentioned this about why is this the way it does, right? And he said that this is just a result of a manifestation of low self-esteem. The fact that people react this way is because they do have low self-esteem.
Most people do, and it's been bred into bred, but think of it like this, right? So if all of our society was taught to love themselves, our economic system would fucking buckle. It would cripple. And the reason is because our economic system is built on the idea that you're not enough and you're not good enough and you're not smart enough or pretty enough. The entire Western economic system is, from the day you're born, you're told you're not pretty enough, put on makeup. Okay? You're not good enough the way you are, put on these fancy designer clothes. You need this jewelry to look better. You need to buy this car to get women. Your fucking hair is falling out. You look gross bald. Get hair implants. You need Rogaine. Okay? Your dick isn't big enough. Your tits aren't big enough. Your fucking ass isn't big enough. Everything you're told is it's not big enough. You're not good enough. All of advertising is trying to teach a human being that if they realized they were enough on their own, could be happy, and to take that away from them. You're going to someone who has everything already. In reality, as human beings, we are born with everything we need to be inside of us. And you're taking something away from them. And you're saying, you're not good enough and you're not big enough. So all our lives, we go around thinking, I don't have enough money. I don't have that house in Beverly Hills. I'm not living the American dream the way I've been told in every movie and TV show and music video I've ever seen. I'm never fucking good enough. And when you think that way, when that's all you see, when a multi-trillion-dollar advertising industry tells you this on Instagram, on Facebook, on TV, in every aspect of life, right? You have people who sit at home and they watch, I guess Cribs isn't on anymore, but you listen to musicians talk about how rich they are and how much they have while you're just fucking taking the bus. I've done that, dude. I've been on the bus just listening to someone singing or rapping about fancy cars and jewelry. And I just think, I'm a fucking bum. I suck. And then it gets in you, and you gotta fight to get it out. That was my whole getting out of being a weak man and depression, was getting that fucking shit out of my fucking head. Because it's poison, man. It's just like the fucking shit they put in water.
Exogen?
No. Fluoride, you know?